Alright, a very happy Republic Day to everyone. Renault has just unveiled the all-new Duster. This is the completely new generation, new platform, new engine, new features, and obviously new design. Let's start with what all is different. Alright, so what's new? Well, the design is the highlight because this thing is in your face. They are not trying to be subtle or simple about it. This is just like the older Duster, only better and bolder. The first thing is you get the LED treatment up front, LED headlamps with LED DRLs. You get LED fog lamps down low on the bumper, just like the older version of the Duster, and a lot of cladding. That muscular butch look that you expect, it is very much there. Interestingly, they don't have a Renault logo up here. They have the Duster logo, which I think they put because they think Renault is not as famous as the Duster. That is quite a bold move. And of course, you get a 360-degree camera as well, as you can see. In terms of width, it's not too different from the older car, not too wide. And it has those similar dimensions that we all love. The typical mid-size SUV look and the bonnet. Now, bonnets usually are simple. You get maybe two power lines, but this one is a lot more aggressive, and they don't want it to be simple and subtle. They don't want it to be under the radar. And I think that is what they've definitely achieved up front. But that's not all. The changes are not just skin deep. They are a lot more on the inside as well. All right, over to the side, the first thing is the silhouette. Now, they have carried a lot of that Duster DNA, and a lot of that has to do with the flared up wheel arches, the wheel cladding, and of course, the tire size that has now gone up. 18-inch wheels now compared to the 17s earlier. But of course, you get those old school Duster details as well. Roof rails with the Duster logo that was there on the older car as well. The door handles for the rear doors are now in the pillar, so that's a bit of a modernity. And overall, dimension-wise, not big in terms of changes. Length is slightly longer, height is slightly shorter, wheelbase is slightly shorter, but it's not something you'll notice. Compared to the older car, it is very, very identical. But of course, from the side, very recognizable as a Duster. But while the overall dimensions haven't really changed, what has gone up considerably is the ground clearance, 212 mm compared to 205 on the last gen version. Now that obviously is great news to drive on our roads. Alright, so at the back of the all-new Renault Duster, and the first thing you notice is of course the LED treatment. You've got these triangular LED tail lamps, you've got connected light bar as well, an integrated spoiler, rear wiper washer, obviously part of the package, but that muscle, that butch look is obviously from the bumper and all the cladding. Basic badging here, Duster badge, the Renault badge only on the rear, not on the front. And of course, you get a turbo badge as well. But the big talking point, of course, is the improvement in boot space. Open this boot, which is right here. Electric tailgate, that's a first as well. And you've got 700 liters measured up to the boot. But if you go up to the parcel shelf, it's around 600 odd liters. That is quite big, especially when you compare it to the older version. All right, inside the Renault Duster, a lot is changed. It is a complete transformation. I would say if you've seen the older one, this is going to be like a concept car. There's so much that is new. First, of course, you notice the vibe of the car. It's a very driver-centric console. The screens are angled towards you. It's not actually that spacious for the driver, but it's not something you'd complain about. Let's start with the comfort. The seats actually very nice. Support is very good. You have a good amount of bolstering as well, and both front seats are power adjustable. Both front seats are ventilated as well. That's a great touch. And the overall materials is very nice up front. Whatever you see on the top, the dashboard, these different kind of textures, very, very nice. But then there are some light plastics like for these cup holders that are not so nice. However, a personal highlight is that buttons, physical buttons are available. In modern cars, you see everything based on a touchscreen. In this, Renault have said, no, you need buttons, and thank God for that. The other one is, of course, the touchscreen itself. It's a Google-powered touchscreen, so you have Google Maps as standard. Of course, other Google applications as well. So very, very easy to use. And once you sign into your Google account, everything is basically linked and it syncs up to how you like it. Instrument cluster, very crisp, very detailed, and quite fresh as well, not too cluttered. The font is nice and legible, so very nice overall. And the seating position is quite good too. You don't sit too high up. You can actually take the seat quite low down. So if you like that low, sporty driving feel, then this is absolutely fantastic. Steering wheel, not a full circle. It has some edges around it and some piano black buttons as well for the ADAS. And for your media controls, paddle shifters part of the package as well. So overall, a very well packaged car, and I think they know their competition. I think they know they are entering a very, very strong playing field and they need a lot of advantage. But from the looks of it, I think they're pretty strong. But of course, a lot of changes have been made to the rear seat as well. So let's check that out. All right, in the backseat of the all-new Duster, the first thing I must mention before the seat and the comfort is that you now get a massive panoramic sunroof that stretches, I mean, behind the rear passenger. That is obviously going to be a huge draw for many buyers. Then you have the space itself. Not too bad, nothing really to stretch about. Don't really get a boss mode, so you can't do any of the adjustment from back here, but it still is sufficient. I'm over 6 feet. I've got decent under thigh support, as you can see. Knee room is not too bad at all. I have some pockets behind the seats, two AC vents in the center, two type C ports. I've got a center armrest with two cup holders, some space to keep my phone, and then of course other seats. Individual headrest for all three passengers with individual 3-point seat belts, so safety, a big win. You don't really get sun blinds for these windows. That's a bit of a miss. I would have liked manual sun blinds. That would have made it a lot better. But seat comfort overall is quite nice. The cushioning is nice and soft. And they have some contouring as well, so you don't really move about. It's not a completely flat, uncomfortable backrest, which is quite nice. And the recline angle is also plenty. You don't get an extra step for the recline, but that's all right. You don't really need it. So for someone who wants it for back seat, I think this is going to be very, very impressive. Even if you sit in the center, it's not that tall of a center tunnel, so not a big issue. But yes, you will be slightly uncomfortable compared to the end of the seats because you get a bit more contouring for the backrest. Now, changes on the outside and inside are not all. You of course have an all-new powertrain. In fact, three new engines. A basic engine, you have a 1.3 liter TGDI, 163 horsepower, 280 Nm. That makes it the most powerful car in the mid-size SUV segment. More than the Creta N-Line, more than the Tata Sierra. This is gonna be something. Mated to it is a 6-speed DCT transmission, but that's not all. You also have a 1.8 liter TGDI engine with a strong hybrid. And that means the Grand Vitara is in trouble as well. The battery, 1.4 kilowatt hour, which is almost double of that of the Maruti, and that means some very good efficiency. In the city, Renault says it's going to be driving 80% of the time in all electric, and that is what's going to replace diesel. That K9K that we all loved is going to be replaced by the hybrid, I feel. But if you want performance and power, I think this is the engine to go for. Of course, we'd love to drive it out on the road before we make a comment on it, so we'll reserve our comments for that. But right now, the numbers are looking very strong. Also, interestingly, hydraulic stud, so no lever to hold the bonnet up. Now, clearly there's a lot of interest for the Duster, but unfortunately the prices have not been revealed yet. Pricing will be out in Diwali, this festive season, but bookings have opened. So if you want one, get to the nearest Renault showroom and get your name on one of these. By the looks of it, it is extremely strong.